Good morning, students. Last time we see the different types of check, right? Which is checking for the shear capacity and checking for the moment capacity, right? So our next step, fifth step, is design of n lattice girder, right? So how do we design this n lattice girder? Right, so starting with the counting of the loads. So here talking about loads, right? So first load we consider is a dead load, right? So dead load of slab, right? Okay, so dead load of slab here. Okay, so for finding out the dead load of slab, right? So last time here our dead load or slab is equal to 2.75 kilonewton per meter square, right? But here we taken as a UDL. So UDL is generally counted in kilonewton per meter. So here the in this given dead load the unit is kilonewton per meter square, but we require kilonewton per meter. So multiply by its length, right? Now here how do we consider this slab, right? So here dead load of slab is equal to is already 2.75, right? So here one simple conclusion here, while you're talking about this slab, particular slab which width is a 4 meter, right? As you can see in this figure, 4 meter of width of slab is given, right? So talking about the load distribution, so here I draw this dotted line, right? So load is distributed, so this right, this type of cross beams either carried out this slab or either carried out this slab, right? So we talking about lead load of slab which is here already given 2.75 kilonewton per meter square, but talking about the width we take as a 4 divided by 2. Why? Because we know that the load distribution of slab is a half of the slab consider carrying a half load carrying capacity of the hard slab, which is carried by this n lattice girder, right? Half load is distributed in this part and half load is distributed in this part, right? That's why we take 4 divided by 2. So here we take 2.75 multiplied by 4 divided by 2. So here our answer unit is kilonewton per meter, right? Now next is we taken as a floor finish, right? So floor finish is also given in our question, which is 0.75 kilonewton per meter square, right? So here 0.75 multiplied by 4 divided by 2, right? So it's a 1.5 kilonewton per meter. So first dead load of slab answer is 5.5 kilonewton per meter, right? So dead load of slab is done, floor finish is done. Now assuming the self weight of truss, right? So here I write down self weight of truss. It's totally assumed because there is no any criteria or any data given to find out the self weight of truss, right? So we assume it's a 0.7 kilonewton per meter, right? So total dead load is 7.7 kilonewton per meter, right? So this is our dead load. Now we're talking about factor load. So while we consider as a factor load, so always the load multiplied by 1.5, right? So our factor load answer is 11.6 kilonewton per meter. So this is our final answer, right? Okay, so these are the calculation of dead load, right? Now we're talking about the live load. How do we find live load? Live load is already given, right? Which is here 5 kilonewton per meter square, right? So here live load is equal to 5 multiplied by width divided by 2, because it's distributed one half in the left side and one half in the right side, right? So this answer is 10 kilonewton per meter. Now calculating a factor live load, right? Factor live load is equal to 10 multiply by 1.5. So the answer is 15 kilonewton per meter. Live load is given, right? So here dead load and live load both are we finding out, right? So what are the total UDL? So total factor UDL is equal to 11.6 plus 15, which means our dead load plus live load is 26.6 kilonewton per meter. So this is our final answer, or dead load plus live load, right? So all these are the various steps. First is geometry, second is the design of cross beams, right? Next is finding out section classification, design our section from the steel table, then check this new design. We selected new sections from the steel table, and then and hence we check the section is okay or not, and its load carrying capacity is more than the previous section or not. Then we check for its shear capacity and for check its moment capacity, right? And the next step is the design of n lattice girder, right? For designing of n lattice girder, we consider a UDL load. So for UDL load is always unit in kilonewton per meter. So we converted kilonewton per meter square into kilonewton per meter. So multiply by its length. But load is distributed in two ways: half of the left side and half of the right side. So we take total width is 4, so it's divided by 2, right? Talking about floor finish is already given in our questions, right? Talking about self weight of truss, which is not given, or any of the data related to this not given in our question, so we can assume of this term, right? So the total dead load of slab, floor finish and self weight of truss is 7.7 kilonewton per meter, right? But we need factor load. So while we transfer the load into the factor load, right? So it will be multiplied by 1.5. So our factor dead load is equal to 11.6 kilonewton per meter. Talking about live load, which is given in our example, right? 5 is already given, so it's multiplied by width divided by 2. So factor load is multiplied by 1.5. So our answer is 50 kilonewton per meter. Hence the total dead load plus live load, factor dead load live load, is equal to summation of this two, dead load plus live load, and our final answer is 26.6 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so next step is analysis of forces in a truss members, right? So how do we analyze this type of truss member? So here we I draw this n lattice girder, which means in N shape. You can see that in N shape. Here I make some mistake. This is not considered, right? Okay, so this L4 is the center point, U4 is the center point. After that here consider as N, and here we consider as a N also, right? So I give this name, these are the upper members, right? So starting with upper members is denoted as a U. U means upper. So U0, U1, U2, U3, U4, U5, U6, U7 and U8. And talking about this lower part, so lower members are known as denoted as a L. L means lower. So starting with the L0, L0, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6, L7 and L8, right? So here I draw the previous figure, it's nearly half, right? Not all the panels or all the sections, all the members are given, right? But I draw all the members in this because we analysis of the forces in the truss members, right? So here each member considered as a 3 meter, and we have the 8 members. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 sections of 3 meter length, right? So we have our total length, which is 24 meter, right? So first step, I left this page here because we draw diagram below, right? So next step is, seventh step is forces in a top members, right? Forces in the top members. So here one equation is given, right, which means height of height of ILD is equal to A in bracket L minus A divided by L multiplied by H, right? ILD means influence line diagram, as you can previously studied in the another semester, right? Influence line diagram, the height of the influence line diagram, the equation is A in bracket L minus A divided by L multiplied by H. So we're talking about the first top members, which is U0 to U1, right? So write down here, for member U0 U1, right? Okay, so the opposite joint which is connected to U0 to U1 member is L1, right? As you can see that the line of U0 and U1 is oppositely connected to the point which is L1, right? So here what is the A, L and H? So A is equal to 3 meter, right? This means A, right, which is a 3 meter. So write down here a 3 meter. L is the total length of the truss, total length of the all truss. So L is equal to 24 meter and H is equal to 3 meter because the height is already given, right? So H is equal to 3 meter. Okay, so we have all these three terms which is used in this equation. So we put all this value in this equation. So our answer is height is equal to 3 into 24 minus 3 divided by 24 multiplied by 3. So the answer is 0.875, right? So 0.875 is our height, right? So these are the height of the member, right? So only, okay, so height of the member is finding out. So now next step is force in member, finding out the force in the members. So here write down force in member equation is force is equal to area multiplied by its total UDL, right? So talking about a force at U0 U1 is equal to, now what is the area? So for first we draw the height of the influence line diagram, right? So here I draw the dotted line in the both side, right? One line horizontal is presented as a total length of the ILD, right? So here at the U0 U1 connected to opposite joint L1, so the height of L, this by finding out the height of our opposite joint L1, so height is 0.875 meter, right? So it denoted as this, right? So we're connecting our remaining lines, right? It is not curvable, but it is a straight, it means right angle triangle, right? So here this height is 0.875 meter, right? And these are our plus, and this is our ILD for U0 U1, right? Okay, so we followed this step into the, we draw second line, right? So here this point is exactly as behind the L1. Now talking about U1 and U2 member, so the L2 point is somewhere here, right? So how do we find the value of this height of this ILD, right? So equation H is equal to total A distance, means here we U1 and U2 opposite joint is L2, right? So what is the distance between this L0 and L2? So 3 plus 3, it means 6. Here we put down the value 6. Total our length is 24 minus 6 divided by L multiplied by H. L is equal to 24 multiplied by H is 3. So our answer is 1.5, right? So here we connected this point to this point. Okay, and here plus sign. So following this equation, which is A into L minus A divided by L multiplied by H. A means the distance from L0, right? First we're talking about U0 to U1, which is connected to opposite joint L1. So the distance between L0 to L1 is equal to 3 meter. While we're talking about U1 and U2, which is connected to the opposite joint L2. So the distance between L0 and L2 is 3 plus 3, 6. Talking about L3, the distance between L0 and L3, 3 plus 3 plus 3, it means 9 meter, right? And talking about the point L4, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 8 means 12 meter. So we repeat this steps after that, and we have our answers. Talking about L3, right? Okay, so here some point here you put this equation and values in this equation, and our answer of this member, which is U2 U3, here I will ILD for U1 U2, right? Here this is ILD for U2 U3, and the value of this equation 1.875, right? Next and last diagram, as we extend in L4, right? So point is here somewhere. The value is 2 and it is for member of U3 U4, right? So here plus, all diagram all the values are our plus, right? So here we're finding out all the values, which is the first is 0.875. this is our height of ILD. 1.5 U3 U4 1.875, and for member U3 U4 its value is 2, right? Now we finding out the force, which is area multiplied by UDL, right? So first we're talking about this element. So here, as you can see that this is a triangle, right? So the area of triangle is 1/2 B multiplied by H, right? So 1/2 B means total length of the truss, which is 24 multiplied by H means height. So height is already given, right? Now talking about the total UDL. So total UDL we finding out about the previous okay. So okay, here so our last total factor dead load plus live load is 26.6 kN per meter. So we take all the examples in basis of this UDL, right? 26.6. okay, so we put the equation, which is 1/2 multiplied by 24, which is weight, multiplied by height, which is 0.875, right? Multiplied by UDL 26.6. so the answer is 279.3 kilonewton. Here if the value is plus, so we consider as the member is in compression, and if the value is minus, we consider the value our member is in tension, right? So talking about PU1 U2 member, so it's 1/2 length is not irreplaceable, which is length is constant, which is 24 meter, right? Only the value changes is the height of the UDL, right? So the second height of the UDL is 1.5, so multiply by 1.5, total multiply by 26.6. so the answer is 478.8 kilonewton. And because the value is in plus, so we assume that our member is in compression, right? Next is the PU2 U3, right? So 1/2 24. Next height is for 1.875. So here 1.875 multiplied by 26.6. So the answer is 598.5 kilonewton. Because of the plus sign, we consider as in compression. Next is PU3 U4 1/2 24, and the last height of the ILD is 2, right? So multiply by 2, multiply by 26.6. So the answer is 638.4 kilonewton. The answer is plus, then the we assume that the member is in compression, right? So this is the force in the top members, as you can see in this figure, right? We draw this diagram. This is a compulsory, right? Finding out the height of the ILT, and then our equation force to finding out the force in member is equal to area and total UDL. Total UDL is previously finding out the total factored load plus live load, right? So put all the values in these equations and finding out the answers. And if the answer is in a positive, so consider as the section is in the compression, and if it's negative, so the member is in tension, right? So if you have any confusion about this lecture, contact me.